Hey guys, welcome back to KY Coins and Collectibles. And what I want to talk about today is something I feel like's really not talked about. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it, and I believe it's really important, especially when it comes to collecting valuable gold and silver and any type of asset, especially like a big coin collection or a big silver collection. A lot of families don't really prepare for the future of the collection. And what I mean is, Grandpa Joe collected coins his whole life and he passed away, and grandma doesn't know what to do with them or what they're worth. So I want to kind of touch up on that and get people that collect, give them kind of an ideal of like what they need to be doing in case something happens to them. Because I've got, myself as an example, I've got a pretty good collection of stuff, and I have a wife and a kid, a son, and they know a little bit about the stuff that I do. They know, of course, I love collecting coins and I do it all the time. But do they know enough about it to where if something happened to me, they would know how to liquidate it or sell it properly and not get ripped off? So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is preparing for the future, and how you should leave your stuff, or how you should prepare. You should always be prepared, because I may get in a car wreck tomorrow, and knock on wood, I don't, but I'm just saying, like, I'd like for my family to be prepared or know kind of what to do and kind of what the stuff is worth. It's a very important topic because I know a lot of people with big collections, and thousands and tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of coins, and I know people with smaller collections. They may have a chest or a small safe full of coins, but it still may be $20,000, $30,000, or even $5,000 to $10,000, and it's not good for when somebody's trying to sell their collection, and there's plenty of people out there looking to take advantage of people, and that's just, you need to be prepared and have your loved ones prepared too in case something happens. So it's not that hard to do, and I've kind of put together a list of stuff you can do to help your loved ones out. That way, if something does happen and they need to sell and you're not around, or you're in the hospital, something happens to you and you're not around to help sell it, help them out by being a little prepared. I know it's kind of morbid, but it's just, I think you're doing your family an injustice when you don't have stuff listed, or you need to have prices on stuff. But I'll show you kind of what I do, and it's very simple stuff, just making a list or a journal, because just right here and what you can see, there's quite a bit of money, and this is just a fraction of what I've got. I've got some older proof sets. I've got my Morgans. I've got a lot of money tied up in all my Morgans, and you can see in all my other videos. I've got a lot of money tied up in them. I've got some gold, and it don't take much to have $1,000 worth of gold. There it is right there. Even when it comes down to Kennedy's, like 40%. And then you've got your key date slab stuff. And then most of these are piece dollars. I mean, there's probably 70 piece dollars right there. So, and you don't want your loved ones really not knowing anything about it and walking into a pawn shop and getting $70 for that. So, I mean, hopefully they know enough. But what I like to do is I will keep a couple different ways. And this is the part where I'm going to be like, this is what I do. You all can do something different, but just have it marked, or make sure they know where an inventory list is. Or if you've got an album like this, make sure you have a list. And I'll show you some examples. For like my Morgans, my albums, this is one of my albums, and what I do is I'll just have a list like this, and it will have all the years and kind of what I think they're worth. This one's not really put together, just an example, but it tells what the year is and about what I think it is. I'd actually used this one when I was purchasing the set and had put a price together. So, and especially the key dates, make sure you've got prices on key dates, because you'll have a key date like an 1893 Morgan and it's a $700 coin. They don't need to be selling it as a $25 to $30 coin. They need to make sure you've got it marked or listed, and have like total prices too. Like have a price range. Like this one set I'd bought, like it could range between $10,000 and $11,000. Like have it priced. And even like if you've got proof sets like this one, I think I had, or like what you paid for it at least. I think I'd bought this one last year for $25, and I've got $25 on there. It's a 1960 proof set, and or it may just be an uncirculated set, but like that. And then like all of these, I believe these are mostly piece dollars. Yeah. So, and I've got them listed. That one actually is not listed, and it's a nicer one too. How about that? But most of these in here are listed. That's some of the newer ones I've just been going through. But like this 1926S, I've put like $40 on it, $45. That gives a range. Like, so just mark them. And I know a lot of people will have codes. If you look at the back, it'll say like XYZ, and that means 45. So if you've got a code on your coins, on the flips, make a key somewhere. Like put it in a journal and be like, listen, honey, if something happens, here's my code, here's what it means. And this in my journal, it is the key for the code. So you can look at it, and X means 2 and Y means 4. That way they can figure out what it is. Or just put it somewhere on there and just make sure they know like what you paid for it, or what you're trying to get out of it at the time. That way they have an idea whenever they pick that coin up and they're like, okay, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's a key date, if it's silver or whatever. They can at least look and say like, well, he put $45 on there. So it gives them an idea on that. And on big items, I know we've all got our key dates and gold. Make sure you've got those listed, because this is an 1881 $10 gold piece, and in the corner I'd put $1,100 on that. So at least she's got an idea, or your family has an idea about what that's worth, instead of they take it somewhere and try to get $100 out of it. So, I mean, you're doing your family a big injustice if you don't do this type of planning. I know it can take a while. As like if you've got a bunch, it might take a while. Uh, and if you've got, like I said, key dates, here's two of my better coins I've got. It's a 1909 SVDB, the key date for the pennies. She's not going to know that. She's going to look at it and say, well, that's a penny. It looks like a wheat penny. Okay, so I mean, just have it listed, and I think this one's got $8.50 on it. That's about what I paid for it. I've not put kind of the current value on it, which that's probably close within $100. But that gives her an idea of what it's worth. Whereas if I didn't have nothing on it, she may think it's just a couple $100 at most. So, and I do, on top of trying to label stuff and mark it, I know a lot of coin dealers, they really don't have to worry about this because they have their stuff marked to sell. So this is mostly for more private collectors, people that have it in their house, in their safes, or it's been handed down. Even if you're getting a coin collection handed down from your grandpa or grandma or great-grandpa, father, just go through it, look stuff up. If you're going to hand it down to your kids, look it up, see what kind of prices are on it, or take your coins to a coin dealer. A lot of people will do appraisals, like find a local coin shop and go get an appraisal, and they will give you a list. Say, can you make me a list? I'm sure they'll charge you because it's going to take a while to look everything up. But that gives you an idea of what you got. And take it to, try to take your coins, have your family take it to a coin dealer if they're trying to sell them. They'll give you a better price than taking it to like a pawn shop or trying to sell it to somebody. They're just going to give you pennies on the dollar. At least at a coin shop, they'll give you what it's worth minus 20% or something, because they've got to mark it up. But they'll give you a better price. Or make sure your family knows, like if you buy off a particular person, like I've got 3 or 4 people I buy off of a lot at different flea markets, and they're coin dealers. They're flea market dealers, and they know their coins, and they know a bunch of the coins that I've bought. So make sure your wife or kids kind of know who you deal with. That way they can be like, well, he's got all these coins. Would you all be interested? They would give you a fair price as well. But take your time. Like, just have stuff labeled. This bust dollar, 1803. I think put $1,200 on it. Get you a little printer, or get you just a little piece of tape and put a price on it. Especially your key items. I mean, right here, I've got $2,000 right there, and then you add another 1,000. There's $3,000 right there, just in 3 coins. Now I know it would, if your wife or somebody just grabbed those and tuck them somewhere, they would take a lot less, but you don't want them to get ripped off. I mean, they should get a few $1,000s out of that. I know they ain't going to get exactly what they're worth, but it's better than getting $500, $600, $700, $800 out of all that. Just make sure you've got stuff listed that they can have an idea. And even just your small stuff, like this is just a little roll of $10 halves. They're Kennedy's, 40%. Even just label on it, like what it is. That way they don't have to get it out and be like, what is that? That's smaller value stuff, a few dollars each. Um, and like I said, make list. Have you like a coin folder or a 3-ring binder, and just put all your information in it. I actually do, and this is one thing that I do and I really enjoy, is I like do a coin journal. So I've got a nice little journal here that I do. Like every time I buy something, I write in it. I just kind of write in it what I bought, who I bought it from, how much I paid, what I think it's worth. In the back, I've been doing like a silver and gold price, and just randomly throughout the month I've been writing down silver and gold, what it's going for. And I had put Kennedy's, like what they're going for, Benjis, Walkers, and what the Rose are going for, more or less. I mean, it's not spot on, but it gives a range. Like, I don't want my wife selling my Kennedys for $1 a piece when she could get 5 at least. I mean, that's a big difference, especially when you've got thousands of them. So this is good though. I really enjoy this, and like every time I buy something, I'll get in here and write it down, and I feel like it's good this is more like a legacy planning. So my kids on down the road, I feel like they would really love to read this, and like how much I enjoyed doing my coin collection. My journaling reflects that, and it shows like how cool would it have been if your great grandpa had done this, and you looked at his journal and he bought a 1903 Morgan for $2, and he's like, oh, really happy I found that today. Or, I mean, like, that's just cool. I think for the future generations in my family, I want them to have something that I wrote and they can read. So this is something I really like. So it helps your family with like price and everything, because I put the prices in that as well. And so this is just kind of public service announcement, I guess, for coin collectors. I know coin dealers, they've got their stuff priced and listed, but us, you collect at home and you've got a safe and you've got quite a bit of coins, or like I said, if you don't, I mean, $4,000 or $5,000 worth of coins, I mean, that's a lot of money for people. Or I mean, even 10,000. I mean, just right here, I mean, there's a lot of money right here, and I don't want my family walking in somewheres and saying like, oh, what's this worth? And they say, well, it's worth a couple $1,000s. I want them to know like, well, that's probably not right. I'll check somewhere else, and they can have a little bit of knowledge about it as well. So I know what I'm thinking it's worth and what they're wanting to give, no matter where you go, is always two different things, but just a little bit of planning and proaction on this. Like you don't want you don't want to be reactive on something happens to you and your family's trying to get all these coins together and they don't know what to do with it. Have a book or have it listed, put prices on your stuff, and just help them out a little bit. And because like I said, it don't take much. I mean, I've collected for 20 years almost, off and on, and ever since I was little I've collected coins. So I mean, I've got a lot of money tied up in coins, and I don't want my family to cut themselves short whenever they go to try to sell stuff. And I mean, If I'm not around, they'll keep some of it for the family. But I mean, they probably sell stuff, because I get people all the time. I have people coming to me wanting to sell their coin collection, and a lot of times they don't know what they have. They just know their loved one spent a long time working on it, and they're just trying to get rid of it the quickest, fastest way possible. And they know nothing about it, and they're like, "Well, will you give me a couple $100 for it?" And they don't know. They've got a few $1,000s worth of stuff, or they don't look through it and know there's a gold coin in the collection they never knew about. So make sure they know to look through it. I know our spouses and kids, they probably get tired of us talking about coins all day long, because if you're like me, this is what I do. I read coin books. I look through coins every day. I'm always on coin websites looking here and there, and I'm making a video now. So they know we love what we do, but that's a lot of time is it. They just know we love coins. They don't know what we've got tied up in it, and it's probably a good thing they don't know, because they'd probably kill us. Yeah. So, but just a little tad bit of information. Just make sure they know what you got. List your stuff. Make lists. Put it in the safe. Fireproof it. Tell them about it. Kind of like an emergency. If something happens to me, go look in the safe, and I've got a folder, and it's got everything listed, what it goes for. My key dates are marked. So it helps. It helps your family out. So, and that's really it. I appreciate y'all hanging around. I'll flip through some Morgans. Y'all can see some Morgans real fast, because I know you came for the coins and you got a speech. So this is one of the albums I bought a while back. Still has some key dates in it. Some nice CCs. Yep. And happy collecting, guys. These are all piece dollars. Send to annex. VAM die cracks. So this one has a bunch of die cracks around the edge. 22D. I believe these are all my piece dollars. I have about a full set in here. And I've got the 21s put up, but 35, 35S, 26S. And the other day, so another little bit of information. Whenever you're putting coins down and you have them in these white slabs and they're stapled, whenever you're putting them side by side and they're really tight in here, and you push it down like it's in there, and you go to push it down in there, watch out, because this staple, see, I've put this one over on the sides. I had a couple that I was trying to push down in here really tight, and that staple is like this, and what it does is it will slide down and scratch the coin behind it. That staple will. So be cautious of that. Yeah, I know, I learned the hard way. I noticed like the plastic, the clear plastic was ripped, and there was a little scratch, not on this particular coin, but if you can tell, when you slide it down, it can hit the coin. So just make sure they're not really tight in there. Well, just like this, like when it's really tight and you push it down in there, and it's hard to get down in there, it can scratch the coin behind it. So be careful when you're doing that. Yeah. but never really thought of it because I was wanting to try to get as many as I can in there. You really don't want to. I think there's about 70 in there. So another little bit of information you can avoid that I didn't. Okay, guys. Hope y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching. Take care. Happy collecting. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments like what you all do to prepare like your coin collection. Do you have a journal? Do you write it down? I mean, does your spouse know as much about the coins as you do? So let me know. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.